These are the top waiver wire ads for week 13 of fantasy football. Let's go. What's going on, Couch fam? For those that don't know me, my name is Hussein the Brain. You're watching The Couch. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification icon. We're trying to get to 50K. Lots of great fantasy football content. We're ranking the waiver wire pickups at every single position, as you guys already know. Sorry for the last week's unexpected break, but we're back. We're ready to go, back with the regular schedule. Let's go on to the waivers. Bye weeks are almost over. We're nearing an end, and fantasy playoffs are also about to start here really soon. So there are 4 teams on bye this week. The Panthers, the Browns, the Packers, and the Titans. Don't start any players on those 4 teams. For quarterbacks, realistically, there's not going to be any options that'll help you out. Maybe if you're in a shallow super flex league and Taysom Hill's available, something like that. So other than Carson Wentz and Taysom Hill, I don't really see any quarterbacks that's going to be like, oh man, it's going to really help me make playoffs and win my league. But still, I got them ranked for you guys. And I would say the top 2 is like tier 1 and the top 5 is kind of like the next tier. So Carson Wentz, great matchup against the Texans. He's been playing very well this year. A little surprise to me. He's looked great. And then number 2, we have Taysom Hill. Now, it really seems like he's going to be starting. He's taking the first team reps. I would be surprised if he doesn't start for the Saints for Thursday Night Football. And then just some other quarterbacks really to just in case they're available and you need a quarterback for some reason. We got Derek Carr. Couple decent matchups. Tua, Heineke going against the Raiders. Teddy Bridgewater is hurt. Looks like he'll be fine. He did play through the injuries a little bit, so he should be okay. Great matchup against the Chiefs, but just a lot of question marks there. Like, how healthy is he? Is he 100% going to play? Is the Chiefs defense really that bad? Maybe they're semi-bad. So a lot of question marks. Then we got Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not the best quarterback, but I think he's formidable. He's decent. Great matchups going against the Seahawks, Bengals, Falcons, Titans, and Texans. Great matchups for really any 49er player or 49ers defense or kicker, anybody you're trying to start. Really good matchups starting right now and into the playoffs. Bengals defense is much improved. I don't know if I'd say they're elite, though. They're good, but not great. Other than that, great matchups. Those other 4 teams are beautiful. Number 8, we got Danny Dimes. Number 9, Justin Fields. Probably coming back, but double check on that. He was hurt. Dalton did start last week. But Fields has a lot of time to get healthy and return to action. And then number 10, we got Big Ben, who's really not that much worse than Fields or Danny Dimes or Jimmy G. All right. Now at running back, we do have ads that will help you. There's a good amount of quality and definitely a lot of quantity. And yeah, you're seeing some really good quality guys, but realistically, guys like Chuba, and a lot of these guys in the top 6, top 7, even top, like almost all these guys, all the good players are going to already be rostered if you're in a competitive league, 12 team or deeper. But just in case, I did put him up there. A lot of people, I do see people asking, should I pick up Alexander Madison? This and I'm like, you should pick up Alexander. Like, he should already be on your team. I've already been saying that for years. So at number 1, we do have Madison. Dalvin Cook is going to miss some time. Now, not a lot of time, but we don't have a lot of time left in the season. So I might be kind of exaggerating, but the remainder of the fantasy season, Dalvin Cook's going to probably miss like half of that, right? Just missing 2 games is almost half of the games we got left. There's like, we're at week 13, week 17 is the Super Bowl, and only 2 teams make it that far anyway. So yeah, Dalvin Cook's going to be out for a lot of the regular fantasy season. Well, he's going to probably miss the whole regular fantasy season and might even miss the games into the fantasy playoffs. Anyway, you guys already know that Alexander Madison's going up against the Lions. Last time this happened, I did rank him like at number 3 or 2, or I even talked about him ranking him as the number 1 running back on my weekly rankings, and I think I nailed it there. He absolutely beasted. And look, Dalvin Cook is much better running back, athlete, talent. I get that. But when he's out, I absolutely love Alexander Madison. He has improved as far as like just getting more acclimated to the team, just being more trustworthy, gaining the coach's trust. He's just more natural with it, right? When I like 3 years ago, I didn't really see that from him 3 years ago. But now, this past year, last season, and this year, I like what I see out of Alexander Madison. He's not thinking a lot. He gets the production. He does a lot of the things Dalvin Cook can do. I mean, it's like, you can look at all these stats and what the analytics and what am I trying to say? Like the measurables what I'm trying to say. But then when you put, Dearness Johnson on the field, he does great, right? It's just like you just can't like teach that. So regardless of the measurables and how much better Dalvin Cook is, when I see Madison starting and being the workhorse, I get really excited. And sometimes I even think Madison can put up more numbers than Dalvin Cook just because there's less competition. So behind Madison, there's really nothing. Behind Dalvin Cook, you get sprinkled in Madison a little bit. He can vulture carries, or if it's a blowout, Dalvin Cook's off the field. In all like 99% of scenarios, more than 99% of scenarios, Alexander Madison is going to be the every down back. He's going to do everything. And then on top of that, you have the best matchup possible. It's a dream matchup. It's not even a realistic matchup when you have Alexander Madison, a team that loves to run, a super workhorse, now that Dalvin's out, going against the Lions. Anyway, definitely add him if he's not available. Like, I drafted him in a couple leagues. Actually, I drafted him more than a couple leagues, and yeah, I never dropped him, obviously. I think in all of them except one, I didn't draft Dalvin Cook. So, like, he's the best. It's not even a debate or opinion. He is the best handcuff in fantasy football, and it's not even close. It really isn't, and I've been saying that. Now, I did say number 5 Chuba was the best value handcuff. I didn't quite hit it on that one. He hasn't been as great, but because he was going round 14, it wasn't a terrible take. Anyway, number 2, we have Dontrell Hilliard. He is on bye, so, if it's a must-win situation, don't add him. Sony Michel is very high on this list because Darrell Henderson is hurt. Now, Hendo might not miss any time. I think he will miss at least a game. That's just a guess, so I do have him here. And then Jamal Williams could very well be your number 1 add this week, because it's the same thing. DeAndre Swift and Darrell Henderson's injury, I'd put around the same level. Like DeAndre Swift, I feel like he'll miss one game. Why put him out there, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, you trying to win this game? Like, for what? So, DeAndre Swift, my guess, let me get some water. Got a lot of excitement with the Alexander Madison there. My guess, Swift misses one game. Maybe Darrell Henderson misses one game. So Jamal Williams will be an absolute must start going against the Vikings. Anyway, we got Chuba Hubbard. He's more like an RB2, like in fan. Like, that's just what it is. It's maybe not even a high end RB2, like a top 15, top 20 RB. Maybe even a low end RB2. So we'll just say like top 20. Top 20-ish with CMC on IR, and CMC is done for the year. He's no chance of coming back this season, so CMC is done. You can drop him in redraft leagues. He's out of there. He's on IR. He's on second IR stint, so CMC done for the year. Chuba Hubbard will take over, and Amir Abdullah, he will be used a decent amount. So just to simplify it, we can see like Chuba on 2/3 of the snaps, and Amir Abdullah on 1/3 of the snaps. And like I said, let's just say Chuba Hubbard, low end RB2, like startable every week, but he's not the best start. He's not gonna wow anybody. He's solid, and the Panthers kind of falling apart, to be honest. Like it's looked, they started out so great the first couple games, and then they've just, I mean, it just spiraled out of control, and this team really isn't that good without CMC. It's kind of proven that CMC kind of changes the whole dynamic of the team. Anyway, Chuba Hubbard definitely worth an ad, and the Panthers are on bye this week. Dante Foreman, he's probably already rostered, but I definitely wanted to put him up here. Boston Scott might be the lead back. Lots of injuries to that backfield, lots of things in flux. Also, I just want to say Eagles backfield is kind of messy situation. Not saying it's bad for the Eagles, but it's bad for fantasy. It could be. Matt Breida has been the best running back on the Bills this year when he's gotten his opportunities. And then we have another messy situation here for the Jets. And I actually do think this is very messy. It was messy with my guy that I pushed, Michael Carter. And Michael Carter was just so talented and so good and so determined that he actually was fantasy relevant. He kind of became a borderline must start, or at least a good RB2 to start. And now that he's out, it gets really messy. We saw Austin Walter, the third string running back or fourth string running back, if you consider Carter. We've seen him vulture. We've seen Tevin Coleman outperform Ty Johnson. So it's a huge mess here. On top of that, it is a bad young team that's very volatile and makes a lot of mistakes. So I tend to stay away from this backfield, but if you want to take a desperate Jets running back dart throw, hey, they might catch a lot of balls or score a touchdown. They do have that potential. I just don't know which one. I kind of ranked it for you guys. Number 1, Ty. Number 2, Coleman. And number 3, Austin Walter. But hey, that's just guessing. And then we have actually a kind of decent situation here. David Johnson and Rex Burkhead. I like these two guys, but keep in mind, this is a very low ceiling running back situation. Not a lot of touchdowns scored by the running backs. Not a ton of snaps, right? They're either going to be like 50-50 or 60-40 or only get like 30% of the snaps. Like, it's just how it is. And like I said, the Texans don't score a ton of touchdowns. I think week 1 was a really good performance by the Texans. Huge dub over the Jags. Then after that, like, we just don't see a lot of touchdowns from them. And at 11, sneaky ad, we have Eno Benjamin. I think this is a really good depth piece ad. You know, here we go. Realistic guy that you can add that's actually available in your league and is going to provide great depth at running back. And let's see if James Conner can stay healthy. I mean, he's been really healthy and durable this year, but kind of a surprise, right? Like, if he got hurt early on in the year, we'd be like, oh, we're not surprised. So you can't have it both ways. Now that he's durable, healthy, and producing, we got to say we're surprised he's healthy. And, hey, good for him. But if anything were to happen, Eno Benjamin would be the number 1 back. Okay, and in deeper leagues, we do have super deep leagues. We have Amir Abdullah on the Panthers, Phillip Lindsay on the Dolphins, and DJ Dallas on the Seahawks. Seahawks are terrible, though. So that's another messy situation there. One you got to monitor and just throw a dart if you're thinking about doing that. Lots of good wide receivers. Not great, but pretty good. Van Jefferson's probably rostered in your league, but don't worry. We also got Russell Gage, Marvin Jones, T.Y. Hilton going against the Texans, Laviska, D-Jax on the Raiders making big plays. Sometimes making dumb mistakes. Josh Reynolds, number 1 wide receiver on the Lions. Now, I would actually rank him right around number 3-ish, 2, 3, 4. If I was just more confident in these Lions, like what the Lions are doing, is just that every 2.5 weeks, there's a new wide receiver 1, right? It's Amon St. Ra, it's Khalif Raymond, and before that, it was dude, I don't even remember. It's a different wide receiver every week. It's a lot of vulturing, a lot of different wide receivers. I think I drafted Terrell Williams in early best ball tournaments. So I thought he was going to be the number one wide receiver. Like I tell you, every 2.5 weeks, it really switches. It switches so harshly that when you do start a Lions wide receiver, you're risking getting 0 targets, 0 fantasy points. It's happened a lot of times for fantasy managers. And number 8, we got Kendrick Bourne. Not a great matchup against the Bills, but I love this guy. I mean, Bill Belichick loves this guy, and he produces. Like, if you need a wide receiver 5 on your squad or a wide receiver 6, that's your guy. Not necessarily want to start him this week, but I do like Kendrick Bourne. We got Jawan Jennings with Debo likely to miss 1 or 2 weeks. And we got Nick Westbrook. I don't know how to say his name, but the Titans' number 1 wide receiver. Their Titans are on bye. And Julio Jones might have got dropped, and he might start to get healthy soon here. Probably will have another hamstring injury if he returns. I don't want that to happen, but we got to just expect that at this point that he's got hamstring issues the past 2 years. And we have Curtis Samuel as a speculative add. He's now healthy, not really doing anything, but he has a chance to actually be that wide receiver 2 that we always thought he would. Well, I mean, I wasn't pushing him that hard, but potentially be that wide receiver 2 as soon as this week, week 13. Tight ends, some decent tight ends here. Now, as you guys watch my draft videos, I drafted Darren Waller more than once. So I'm going to need to look at my own waiver ads and go accordingly. Now, all these guys are probably available, or vast majority of them, except Logan Thomas. And I know a lot of leagues, who else? Tyler Conklin's not available, but realistically, some of these guys are going to be available. It's going to vary a lot league to league. Tight ends, defenses, kickers, they vary a lot more than the other positions on whose roster. So Logan Thomas is back. Pretty sure I had him on my last week's video. He's looking solid. Gerald Everett, I have this guy on every single waiver video. It's about time to actually add him. He's actually really good. And consider he's being really good while the Seahawks suck. So just imagine if Russell Wilson plays a little bit better. And number 3, we have Foster Moreau, who's actually balled out of control, or at least got a lot of targets and a lot of usage and a lot of touchdown potential when Darren Waller misses time this year. So I'm going to put in a claim for Foster Moreau, and I'm comfortable starting him. I mean, I don't love it, but dude, when you start a tight end anyway, it's a risk. Like, they're so up and down, they're so unpredictable that I'm fine like starting the island of Foster Moreau. I'm totally fine with that. Number 4, we got Cole Kmet. And basically tied with him, we have Evan Ingram, Tyler Conklin, and yeah, right around there. Those 4, 5, 6 are tied. And then at number 7, we got Jared Cook, 8, CJ Uzama, and 9, James O'Shaughnessy of the Jaguars. Defenses, lots of great defenses to pick up. We have some unsuspecting streaming options that are elite this week. So this is going to really help you out. And what I've been preaching all year, it's a strategy you usually don't want to do, but it has worked out tremendously this year, almost 100% of the time. And that's to look ahead 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes even 4 weeks, and stream a defense early. That way you put in a $0 bid or get them as a free agent. You don't have to put in a claim. You don't have to spend any FAB. I'm picking up the Dolphins early. I'm picking up the Niners early. I'm picking up the Browns early. And in one league, I even picked up the Vikings early. Anyway, make sure you're doing that. Look at the playoff schedule. Look at next week's schedule. See which teams are playing, like the Lions and Texans and Jags and all that. Okay, so number 1, we got the Rams D going against the Jags, but it's actually pretty close with the next 4, 5, 6 defenses. Like, it's not like that seems like a no-brainer, amazing defense, and it is, but there's actually some other really good ones too. Cardinals just had a bye week, so they might be available. They're going against the Bears. The Bears not only are a non-explosive offense or kind of a bad team, but they're also kind of banged up too. Let's see if Allen Robinson comes back. Let's see what's up with Justin Fields. I think Marquise Goodwin just got hurt too. Like there's a lot of injuries there. So yeah, Rams D number 1, Cardinals D going against the Bears, Colts D is going against the Texans at 3. Number 4, an elite defense this week, Eagles D going against the Jets. Remember, guys, even if the defense performs well, they don't necessarily get fantasy points. They can get out of there with 4 fantasy points. It's those mistakes that the offense makes that gets us those points. And the Jets, they make mistakes. So one big mistake could make the Eagles D go from being okay to elite, right? 4 points versus 11 points, right? A pick 6, boom, right there. A pick 6 is what? Around 7 points in standard league. So, yeah, like Eagles D is going to be great. They're going against the Jets. A lot of big play opportunities, and that's one thing you got to really go for with these defenses, because it's so hard to predict. But if you can get some QB pressures, if it's opportunistic defense, and especially what I like, if the offense makes a lot of big mistakes, that's what I love. And number 5, we have the Vikings D going against the Lions. I hate the Vikings D, but this is a game where they should win. This is a game going against the Lions. DeAndre Swift is banged up. I mean, they're just not a good team. And like I said, one mistake, right? And boom, Vikings D could easily get you like 17 fantasy points. Or it would take about 2 mistakes to get there, 2 big ones. Bucks D going against the Falcons. Bucks should have a commanding lead this game. Niners D going against the Seahawks. This is a little bit of a tougher situation here. A little bit tougher to predict. Russell Wilson does suck, but we saw him play a little bit better this past week. I mean, he looked terrible, but he put up better numbers, right? It wasn't that bad. Like, they almost won the game or tied it, whatever you want to say. So there is a chance that Russell just keeps improving, just gets more comfortable. His finger maybe feels better. And so this is going to probably be a close game and just very tough to predict how many fantasy points this Niners D is going to get. They could get you like 2, 3, 4 fantasy points. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got like 17 fantasy points. We have no idea. This is going to be a tough game. And I mean, Seattle's pretty much out of the playoff picture, I think, but they're gonna play hard. They know that they have to win out if they even have a chance. I don't know the playoff picture, but I think if the Seahawks win out, maybe they might have a chance. They definitely can't afford to lose another game. Cowboys D going against the Saints. Saints probably won't score too many fantasy points. Dolphins D going against the Giants. That's another good one. One that I could rank as high, like over the Niners D. So Dolphins D's been playing much better. And they're going against the Giants. Good things could happen. And in deep leagues, we have the Raiders D and Washington defense. In the same game, they play each other. For kickers, lots of great options. So last week was very unpredictable. This week, much more predictable. I love some of these kickers at the top. So try to get one of these top 5 kickers if you can. You probably will be able to, but if you can't, just get the highest one that's ranked. So any of these top 5 will be fine, but Matt Gay is kind of in a tier of his own. Great bounce back game for the Rams. The Rams this is not a trap game for them. They know they're fighting for their lives. They know this is a must win. So they're going to play hard. From the beginning. They're not going to ease up. They're going to keep attacking. They're going to keep throwing the ball. So it's not like, oh, it's the third quarter, it's the second half, they're going to stop. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to make sure they win this game, and they're going to make sure they attack the Jags defense. So I love Matt Gay. There will be lots of extra point and field goal opportunities for Matt Gay. Rams should have a good lead. That means in the fourth quarter, or even third quarter, when it's 4th down, they're not going to need to go for it all the time, right? They just say, hey, we're already up by 13. Like, let's kick a field goal here, right? Settle for a field goal is what I always say. Number 2, we have Harrison Butker. Number 3, Ryan Suckup. Love Suckup this week. Greg Joseph going against the Lions. Matt Prater going against the Bears. Now, I'd say Matt Prater, I don't know, man. It's hard. I could rank him number 4. It's hard to rank these sometimes, but that's why I said tier 1 is kind of that top 5, with Matt Gay being like kind of in a tier of his own. Very confident in Matt Gay this week. I hope I hope that ages well. Number 6, we have the Raiders kicker, Carlson. Number 7, Greg the Leg Zuerlein. Number 8, Evan McPherson. Rookie phenom kicker, just like I predicted, right, folks? Number 9, Robbie Gould. Wow, I like that kicker as well. Number 10, Money Badger, Michael Badgley. 11, Jake Elliott, the Eagles kicker. So all these guys are pretty good. So if you can't get a top 5, you're still I still like 9, 10, 11. Those are still good kickers. And in deeper leagues, we do have the Dolphins kicker, Jason Sanders. For whatever reason it might be, sometimes it doesn't work out. He's not having a phenomenal year, but he's still like formidable. He's still startable. It's not that bad, and good matchup, I think, for Jason Sanders this week. All right, folks, make sure you do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to our second YouTube channel. Drop a comment below. I read just about every single comment, and I try to get back to every single comment. If you got a fantasy question, just comment below. Follow me on social media at Fantasy Couch. Let's go get that W this week, baby. Peace.